Let's go to this diesel-powered party panel tonight from the Fox Business Network. The legendary Dagan McDowell, medal to everyone, and the spokesperson for young voices, little teeny tiny voices everywhere. Stephen Kent is here, and Right Turn Strategies president and LGBT for Trump founder, Chris Barron. So, Chris, you are obviously a big supporter of the president's. You have been for a long time. It was interesting. I alluded to this a little bit with Chris, the other Chris, that it was interesting seeing Ann Coulter have a total meltdown over the open-door DACA session that the president had with lawmakers. She called it the lowest day in the Trump presidency.
Look, I like Ann, and it wasn't just Ann. There was a lot of my friends in the Make America Great Again movement who were lighting their hair on fire
and
yesterday.
their red hats.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Look, one of the reasons why we liked Trump so much is because he was a get things done kind of guy. The art of the deal. Well, this was a negotiation. Trump hasn't given anything away.
Yeah.
He sat in there and forced Democrats to come to the table. It was a great day for Trump, and he does have leverage around DACA. And look, at the end of the day, we're going to have some version of a wall.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I don't know, man.
No, hey, look, it's not going to be a continuous.
It's not going to be a wall so much as maybe not a wall.
It's going to be a wall.
It's not going to be a wall. So you think that the left is actually setting the president up, that they give him praise for doing, seemingly normal things, and then the next time he does something insane, they're going to attack him?
Yeah, I mean, they set the bar so low that when he actually holds a meeting and getting leaders together from both sides, they consider that to be normalcy. Again, the narrative has changed lately to now they're talking about he is no longer mentally fit for office. We're in the middle of the instability news cycle. So this sort of threw water on all that. He actually got the grown-ups in the room together to talk about immigration policy. And I think that this is actually part of his brand. Like he was saying, this is what Trump does. He brings people together to make a deal. I'm in favor of what I saw yesterday. I think it's great.
All right, but is it enough for the base? I mean, is the base torn now that Bannon has been banished?
No, the base is not torn for one reason. Donald Trump, watching him from a business perspective when he was running for the presidency, he ran on making the economy better.
Yeah.
Well, what has he done in the last year? He has freed up business by rolling back regulations across a giant swath.
He is running for Jeff Flake's seat. That's right. He's gunning for the retiring senator's chair. The president pardoned the controversial sheriff for criminal contempt last year. Arpaio said he's running for one reason to, quote, one unwavering reason to support the agenda and policies of President Donald Trump in his mission to make America great again. Flake is one of 3 Republican senators who will not be seeking office once again in 2018 versus 0 Democratic senators who plan to call it quits. And in-house Darrell Issa, the high-powered head of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, he just announced that he also will not be seeking re-election in 2018. He's joined by 31 other Republicans in the House who won't be running again, compared to just 14 Democrats. So will the midterms cause a major shift in the GOP? So you have a lot of lawmakers who have already tapped out. Does that make it problematic and even more of an uphill battle for Republicans?
Look, I mean, midterms are always difficult for the party of the president in power. Like, that's just a historical fact. And look, yes, we've had 32 retirements now with Darrell Issa. 12 of those are people who are running for higher office. So it's not like everybody is fleeing for the gates.
Yeah.
I will say that this idea that somehow if the Republican majority in the House is smaller, that somehow means that we're going to have a more moderate Congress, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because the Republicans who are safe, the Republicans who are coming back, are conservatives. A smaller Republican majority in the House means a more conservative Republican caucus. So it doesn't mean we're going to have a
Well, it also means a more powerful Freedom Caucus when you have that.
Which is a good thing.
Well, I think it's a good thing because they tend to be much more pro-liberty, and they're also cost cutters, so I appreciate that. So the president might be the gift that keeps on giving. We're hearing that Oprah, in a pendulum move, might run against the president in 2020, and that really is just a revenge fantasy, but you also have Sheriff Joe. So will we see normal, straight-laced, casting call politicians, the kind of traditional politicians we've seen in the past, or now that President Trump is here, is it all bets are off and any weirdo can run for office?
Well, we saw the Democrats pull somebody quite milquetoast and normal down out of Alabama. Doug Jones. He is a regular guy. And what you have on the Democrat side,
he barely beat an accused child molester.
Yeah, but I mean,
it wasn't by virtue of his ideas or his Doug Jonesness. It was because all of these allegations.
Very campaign, though. I mean, he ran a cookie-cutter, normal campaign, no drama. The only thing that the Democrats can
running
do to
in
lose
in a very red Republican state
is to actually put up somebody who's fringy and crazy.
Yeah.
Arizona is a purple state,
so
they need to stay in normal territory. And what happened in Alabama is the Washington Post, outside media, came in and created drama and increased
the last minute. That was the
partisanship.
issue. That was the issue. That was the only reason that the stories from those women about Roy Moore gave people pause, is because it seemed like, oh, all of a sudden that we're hearing about these after literally decades. But by the way, you still had a
everyone knows everything about Sheriff Joe. He's got incredibly high name recognition. Could he win that seat?
No, he couldn't win. He couldn't keep his job as sheriff, for Pete's sake. And by the way, Roy Moore was a huge mistake. Roy Moore, he got removed from the state Supreme Court twice because he wouldn't follow a valid court order. Bad candidate even before the stories about those young women. It was this: hey, look at my gun. People don't trust anybody. You have to show somebody your gun in order to seem like a strong person.
And Roy Moore and Joe Arpaio have nothing to do with Donald Trump or Trumpism. These are people who have been self-promoters for decades. These are people who are jumping on the Donald Trump Express because they think it's a way for them to remain relevant. And that's what Joe Arpaio is doing right now. He's trying to use Donald Trump's
So who do you
name.
think's going to win in Arizona?
I think Kelly Ward will end up winning the primary.
Do you really?
I do.
Not McSally?
No, because I don't think this Joe Arpaio thing is going to. I don't think it's real. I don't. I think this is fundraising like gambit.
He doesn't want to be a senator. All right, we're going to see the panel a little bit later. Thank the Lord. But now a group of freedom-loving lawmakers on Capitol Hill are fighting to protect Americans from being spied on by our government. For his movie, All the Money in the World, his co-star, Michelle Williams, who received a Golden Globe nomination for her role, was paid, listen to this, just $80 per day. The Getty kidnapping drama was reshot after sexual misconduct allegations against one of its stars, Kevin Spacey, were made public. Williams was reportedly unaware of the pay differences, even though she and Marky Mark are represented by the same agency. So just to recap, a movie that was reshot partly because the Me Too movement still found a way to screw over its female co-star. Can Hollywood ever shake its own hypocrisy? Party panel is back. Dagan McDowell, Stephen Kent, and Chris Barron. Dagan, I think this is really interesting because you have studios, you have agencies, you have stars that still seem to feel that actresses' work is less valuable than actors.
It's appalling, and people, I can't get my head around the fact that women are so poorly treated in Hollywood, quite frankly. These are women and men who are represented by agents. You should have greater pay parity in a place like in a place like Hollywood.
Especially when you're at the same agency.
I'll go back to
the same department.
Remember, Charlize Theron stepped up and demanded the same money as her co-star in The Huntsman, Chris Hemsworth. She found out that she wasn't getting paid the same amount of money, apparently, through the email hack from Sony. And then you had the former Sony Pictures head, Amy Pascal, saying women should know their worth. Shut up! You were running a studio and you were underpaying women. You aren't. If you're a woman running a studio, are you going to represent women or not? I just find, can they start?
Oprah said a new day is on the horizon.
They don't walk the talk, and it's just appalling.
Now, conversely, I don't think Hollywood should be forced to pay anyone anything. They're just being very hypocritical in the way they talk about it. They despise the free market, but if you can pay an actor far less money than you're paying another actor and save money, isn't that the free market at work?
Well, Michelle Williams didn't do herself any favors by saying she didn't want to be paid to do this job. If I said I'd work for $80 a day, my boss might pay me that too. And basically this highlights how liberals do not understand or care to understand how market forces work. Mark Wahlberg is the #1 selling actor in Hollywood. He made the most money in 2017. Who's Michelle Williams? I mean, she's won an award, she's in some high-profile movies, but she doesn't bring people to the theaters and their butts
so
to
good
the
in
seats.
Manchester by the
She's
Sea,
so good,
though.
and she's a critically acclaimed actress.
She really is.
Mark Wahlberg is a popcorn
Mark Wahlberg didn't
actor.
bring anybody to the theater because this movie has done
No, it is not. It has not
he does
made any money.
bombs. I mean, no question. But he brings them in. I mean, do you remember like Bryan Cranston when he was in Godzilla? He wasn't actually in the movie. They just used him to sell the movie. That's what Mark Wahlberg is for this.
He was making meth in his bathtub. Chris Barron?
I mean, look, anybody who looks really bad here, it's the hypocrisy, obviously, of Hollywood, and it's the agency that represents Michelle Williams. I mean, if I were Michelle Williams, I'd be saying, hey, by the way, I need a new agent like yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg.
No, if I found that out, I would go across the street.
Absolutely. But it's not his fault. I mean, it's not his fault.
Well, it's not just a pay issue because, like, these technology companies always brag about we have pay parity.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Apple and the technology jobs there, less than a quarter of women at Apple are in technology jobs. It's about 77%.
Same
men.
at Google, 31%.
So, again, hypocrisy there as well. You might pay women the same as men, but women are wildly underrepresented and actually in some of these jobs treated badly and talked down to by their male counterparts.
All right, thanks, Toots. Appreciate it. You're the only one on Earth. Party panel, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Coming up, a new study claims small business.